The sound of vintage single coils. The sound of P90s. And finally, the sound of humbuckers. Until now, if you wanted all of those tones at the same gig or the same session, you would have to bring 3 guitars with you. Enter the Seymour Duncan P-Rails pickups. The Seymour Duncan P-Rails pickups were designed to give you multiple sounds within the same pickup. At its heart, it's a P90. Let's take a look at one of the prototypes. What you can clearly see here is that this main section of the P-Rails is essentially a P90 bobbin that's wound like a traditional P90. So when this humbucker splits to a single coil, what you're going to get is a full Alnico 5 P90 sound. At the same time, this pickup contains another coil. This other coil is an Alnico-powered rail coil. Now that's a sound that people have only been able to get from our custom shop when the custom shop will put in an Alnico 5 magnet into one of our rails pickups. But now it's available inside of the P-Rails. Now what kind of sound does that give us? Well, essentially, that's going to give a tone that's usable for single coil tones, like Strat type of tones, that will be more authentic than what you've ever heard from a split humbucker type of tone that will utilize a slug coil or a screw coil from a normal humbucker. And so then the next question is, well, what do I get when I put them together? Well, and the reality is that there are 2 sounds basically that you get when you put them together. The first sound that you're able to get is when you wire them in series, just like a normal humbucker, you get a big, high output, tough, meaty type of tone, good for use in rock, heavy blues, any kind of a heavy guitar tone that you would normally use a rock and roll humbucker for. But when you wire them in parallel with each other, the tone, it stays bubbly. The 2 coils sound so different from each other that there's less phase cancellation, and essentially, if you would want, you can get a more of a vintage PAF type of a tone from your pickup. In this guitar, used for demo purposes, we've got 3 sounds. We've got the rails tone, we've got the P90 tone, and then we have the series humbucker tone. And that's what we're going to listen to today. First, let's start with the rails tone, and I'm going to use both pickups on at the same time so that you can hear sort of that stratty notch type of a tone that we get out of this guitar. Next, we're going to go to the P90 tone. And finally, the series humbucker tone. Now, as you can hear, there's a vastly different tonality between all 3 of those sounds, but there's also a little bit of a difference in the output level, which causes me to be able to get all these different tones without making any changes at the amplifier. Let's listen to the pickups by themselves. First, I'm going to go to the neck pickup, and I'm going to start on the rail tone. Now we're going to go to the P90 tone. finally, we're going to go to the humbucker tone. Now we're going to move to the bridge pickup. And the first thing we're going to do is, again, start with that rail tone. So you're going to be listening to sort of like a Strat bridge pickup kind of a sound. Now we're going to kick it into the P90. And finally, the humbucker tone. And all of those tones, again, are available without making any changes at the amplifier. This is all coming straight from the guitar. So there you have it, the Seymour Duncan P-Rails pickups, a patent applied for design that is going to enable you to get 2, 3, even 4 tones from the very same pickup. Let's jam it out.